Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you in here. Hey, Karen. Number one, girlfriend. You number one tonight. Number two, Miss Justice. All right. Much love, PG. Much love to you and Karen. Number one and two. Sherry, number three. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to you, girlfriend. And Tropicana, you are number four. Hello, PG Mods and chat. Hello to all four of you at the top. God bless and much love. Let me get down through here. Hey, Lynn, number five. Australia, number six. Hey, much love to everybody in here. God bless y'all. I appreciate everybody being here. Hey, Parker, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Hala. How you doing tonight? And let's see. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. Please hit that thumbs up. It does help the channel. Absolutely. Uh Parker, I love it. I love it. Hey Jessica, how you doing, girlfriend? There's my beautiful Australia. She is so tired. She is so tired, but she is still here. God bless her. And let's see, Auntie Sherry, how you doing, PG? You been you're right. Absolutely. That's the truth. That's the truth, right? And Sherry, do I need to get a divorce? Right. I think somewhere I could get 30%. Right? I got a prenup, he didn't. Right? He don't get nothing. He doesn't get nothing. Hey Patty, how you doing, sweetie? It's hello, PG and Chad. Hello, hello to you. I'm sharing your I can't see you anyway. Right? I like my privacy with them when I'm with my man. Hey Sherry, I like my privacy when I spend time with my man. I'm heading to the bottom, you guys. I'm heading to the bottom, trying to catch up on what everybody's talking about. Hey, Iva, how you doing tonight, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh, there's Coupon Mama. She says, "Hey, Sherry, how are you doing? How are you, doll? How are you?" Hey, Carla, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, PG time. Hey, Deborah, good to see you too, sweetie. Good to see you in here. I'm trying not to miss no one. Jersey Devil, how you doing? Linda, how you doing? I try to get everybody. Brenda, as many people as I can heading to the bottom of here. Hey Ethel, how you doing? How you doing, PG? I'm doing good, girl. Hope you're doing good too. Hope you all been doing good. Oh, Dawn, that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Reba, how you doing tonight, sweetie? Bridget. Oh, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. Thank God. Hey, Minnie Pearl. Apple Jacks. How you doing, sweetie? Good to see you in here. All right. Ivy's mom, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello to you. Hello to you. I wanted to let you guys know that I brought receipts tonight. I want receipts. I want receipts from Fred and Ziggy, right? We want receipts. Um, we definitely want receipts, right? I want receipts that, that Marlena was being looked into. I want receipts that she was being investigated upon birth certificates. Right? I want, I want receipts to that because I'm damn sure that she's got the birth certificate from the hospital, right? When she had her baby, she had her baby at a hospital. You know, you fill out for the birth certificate. As a matter of fact, you fill out for birth certificate and social security cards, right? And so you end up getting both. Um, it's BS. It's BS. And I'm sure Marlena had to obtain both for her daughter because I'm sure she was getting assistance, and you can't get any type of assistance without a birth certificate and social security card, unless you're like an illegal, and then you even have a number. You have a government number that you have to give them, even at that point. So, you know, that's BS. Um, Candace, where she's concerned, to my understanding, she was getting assistance, also medical cards and stamps and stuff as well. So she had to have all of her children's birth certificates and social security cards. So what are you talking about, Fred? What are you talking about? Plus, she had to enroll them in school. They don't let you enroll your children in school unless you show birth certificates. That's a must. I mean, you must show those. Um, Identification that is your child. You just can't go roll any child into a school building. You have to show proper identification that that child is yours. So, what are you talking about? You and Ziggy talking about, oh, we don't think there's a birth certificate for some of the Wells children, especially Summer. Um, Sorry to tell you, but there is. There's matter of fact, um, anybody, anybody can obtain a birth certificate if you know the mom and dad's full names. That's all you have to have is the mom and dad's full names, and you can go and you can apply for a birth certificate. You could go get Don Wells' birth certificate if you got his mom and dad's full name. You can get his. You can get Candace's if you got both parents' full names. You can get Summers if you have Don and Candace's full names. And it's got to be right there in Rogersville, Tennessee, because that's where they were living, is 110 Ben Hill Road. So it would be, the closest building there that supplies birth certificates and so forth. You would just go in, fill out the paperwork, give them the money, right? I think it's like $40 or something. Give them the money, and they give you the birth certificate, right? So if you want to know if someone's got a birth certificate, just go there. Just go and get it. I hear Fred needs a birth certificate too. So go get his. He's right there in that area. Go get his and get Summers at the same time. Oh, that's right. Excuse me. How could I dare? How could I, anyway, former how, think of you guys being able to get Summer's birth certificate? How dare me think of that? Because then you won't have nothing to mother freaking lie and talk about, would you, Ziggy? Huh? I'm going to tell you something, Ziggy. All you did with me was holler receipts, receipts, receipts. You need receipts, PG. You need receipts. Um, you need receipts. Uh, Put a one in the chat if you remember Ziggy wanting receipts, receipts, receipts. Stick a one in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. All she did. You need receipts, PG. You need receipts. Well, why didn't she show the receipts? Why don't she show what she wanted? Don't you think, don't you think what's good for the goose is good for the gander? I do. I do. You know, I think that if you want them, you should be producing them, right? Over here, we produce the proof, right? That's why this channel's so great, Ziggy. That's why it's so great. It's so great because your your bitch ass made it great. You helped make this channel great with your fucking receipts, PG, right? You need receipts. And I will tell you what, Ziggy, I appreciate it, hon. I appreciate it. Because you know what you did? You made me make sure I got receipts on everything I fucking talk about. Everything. And you know what it does? It lets everybody know PG tells the truth. Unlike you, right? Unlike you. It lets everybody know PG tells the truth. Because I got the receipts. And I got the receipts tonight. Oh, I sure the hell do. I sure the hell do. Marlena got investigated because of birth certificate. No, she didn't get investigated because of birth certificate. I'm going to tell you what she got investigated for. Right here, Ziggy. Here's the receipts. You also said Fred Heal.
He shot at me. He shot on me one night because he was drunk or messed up, and we was riding 4-wheelers, and he shot at me then.
Why would he do that? Yeah, why would he do that? Why would he do that? Because he's a paranoid human being, right? He's a paranoid, if you ask me, this is my opinion. He's a paranoid schizo. That's my opinion. You know, the way he tells all kinds of lies and he sees shit and he sees all kinds of shit that ain't even there, right? Like Dawn at 2:30 and Fred with 50 cars on the road at mother freaking 3:30. And he sees everything, but he didn't see Candace in front of his house, and he didn't see Chad Arnold at his house. He didn't see these two leaving out at Ben Hill Road following each other. You know, it sounds to me like Fred just sees what the fuck he wants to see, right? And what the shit he's seeing ain't even there. Yeah, I think that's called paranoia schizophrenia when you're seeing that kind of shit. And I heard he sees shadow people too. Hey, Don, look up in the woods there. You see him? You see the shadow people? All right. Don's like, right?
I have no idea.
You guys were riding the 4-wheelers up at 110 Ben Hill Road?
Yeah, we were riding up to, there's a teepee up right at the back of the hill.
Right.
It's way back in there.
Exactly. Question everything, right? Didn't even see Jody Sue or her son, right? Her son out checking all the freaking, she said they was out there checking the property lines, but I think they was out there mother freaking moving them, right? They was moving them when that Jackie Dobbs showed up. He didn't own no damn property because they done moved the property lines all over onto his property. Like, how can you own this when we done moved all the property lines, to the other neighbor's place, and you don't have anything now? The law enforcement went up there like, what the hell does he own? No. The only thing left was the only thing that wasn't roped off was this little freaking space you could put a chair on top of a little cliff, right at the top. Looked like it's ready to fall off. And Jody Sue didn't want that. that road dead ends.
Yeah, and he goes up to a teepee at the back of it, and there's a waterfall up there.
I didn't see nothing like that. And a lot of people have looked for this waterfall thing that she's talking about, and nobody's been able to find it yet.
It's way up in there.
Oh, okay.
The only way you can get to it is if you ride a 4-wheeler up in there.
Okay.
Horses.
Right. Yeah. The Light brothers and those people there, they're the ones with the horses and stuff that go up inside of those mountains and everything. I wanted to ask you. You left. I know that you left your daughter unattended with Candace and Don Wells because they told me you did. They told me that their daughter was staying up there with them. Your daughter was staying up there with them for a few days before she was picked up. Is that
she wasn't picked up? Grandma brought her home on a Friday afternoon, and she was supposed to stay until Monday.
right? And how long had she been up there? How long?
She was up there from Wednesday night to Friday morning.
No, Marlena. She was up there from Tuesday. She was up there Tuesday. They picked her up on Tuesday. She was there Tuesday night. She was there Wednesday night. She was there Thursday night. She was there Friday night. They brought her home Saturday. Your daughter was up there from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. She was there for 5 days. 5 days. Oh, how does PG know that? Because Marlena fucked up and told PG, which you'll hear in a different video here in a little while. And is that the only time that you have?
That was the only time I ever let her go up there, period, by herself, whatsoever.
Well, I'm going to educate you on the Wells, on Don Candace Wells, and Don's ex-wife Pam Wells, and a whole lot of other things you might not know. I'm sure they don't want you to know. For one, in Arkansas, well, let's start in Utah. Don and Pam Wells got together, and up in Utah, they tried to sell Don Wells tried to sell their son to the drug man, according to his sister Mary. Now, and they tried to also sell their daughter. I don't know if you was aware of that.
I mean, it all makes sense because Donnie, how do I say this? Donnie, my daughter came home that day because Grandma brought her home. And she came home and told me that they were packing a bag for her to go away. And it was only her going, not the boys, that her and Daddy was taking a trip. That's what they told my young one.
Right.
Okay, so everybody thinks that she's dead or whatever. My opinion is they took her to the cartel because he owed them some money and they came and got her.
Now, put a 1 in the chat if you think it is suspicious that all of these people. Now, let's remember. Let me brief you guys real quick on some stuff. Let's remember that Marlena is related to. She's related to Chad Arnold. That's her brother-in-law. Her half sister is related to the Morlocks, the main grave diggers, and Chad Arnold digs graves around there as well. to make extra money. I hear that a lot of times he'll help and, pocket $100 or more on just helping, you know, with the grave sites. So, with that being said, all of these people know each other. All of these people, Marlena knows the Wells, she knows Fred and them, she knows Andy and Jody Sue. All of these people are affiliated with one another, and a lot of them are, connected by blood, right? By blood, they're related. They're all related, um, you know, all kinds of creepy and stuff, all kinds of creepy and stuff related. Um, you know, like hell, for all I know, some of them could be their own grandpas down there. That's how close these people are. Everybody seems to be cousins or, aunts and uncles and all this weird, stuff. But, like Andy and Fred Hill, cousins, right? Living on the same road, but they don't know each other. They don't know each other, but they live in the same holler. They both work on cars. They both, growed up together in the same area, ran around with other cousins, but they don't know each other. I find that shit suspicious too. But, you got to remember these people are related. Now here's what I want to ask. And they're all on this same, she got took by a cartel. She got took, every last one of them, are all going in the same direction when it comes, what I'm saying is Don and Candace is saying abduction. And then you have everybody else talking about, cartel type thing. And even Don at one point, let's go. I think I know where she's at, at a hotel and all of this stuff. I'm going to tell you, that'd be the first mother freaking dealer that I know would take a child. That's the first fucking dealer in the world that I know would take someone's child, because you owe money. That's some weird, really weird shit, and I ain't ever heard of that before. Did they call your mother to pick her up?
No, her mama brought her to my house.
Okay, so Candace brought her.
No, Candace's grandmother.
Okay, Grandis.
Grandma. Yeah, Grandis.
She brought your daughter to your house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so your mother didn't go pick up your daughter.
Nope.
Okay, when you were saying grandma, I thought you was talking about your mom went and picked up your daughter. Okay, so it was Grandis that brought your daughter, which was supposed to stay there until Sunday. Grandis brings your daughter to your home, and your daughter, when she arrives home with you, she tells you, no, Aunt Sherry, Marlena has not ever said that her daughter was the main target instead of Summer. That is not true. That came out of Dawn and Candace's and their mouth. They wanted to act like, that they wanted to act like Marlena's. Dawn and Candace was the first ones trying to say that Marlena and her old man and her brother owed money, and they were to the dealer, and they was targeting her daughter and ended up getting Summer, which was pure bullshit. It was pure bullshit. And then that's when Fred and Marlena and all of them started saying, that's Don and Candace owing money. Actually, not Donald and Andy across the road. But the thing is, if Donald and Andy owed money, they were going to, and they would, if they both owed money to someone, say $10,000, the person would have wanted not just Summer, they'd have wanted Andy's daughter as well, because he owes money too. They're not going to just take Dawn's child and say, okay, Andy, when, no. Because, see, how is Andy going to, how's Andy going to pay his part? He could, he could leave Dawn in the dust. If he's part of it and he owes money too, they would want collateral from him as well, if that's the way they were working it. So they would have wanted his kid would have disappeared with Summer if they truly owed a big debt, the way Fred and these people are saying. Because, you owe that kind of money, and somebody makes a deal like that, they're not going to just take from one side. They want collateral from both sides. They want to make sure that their shit is guaranteed. And I'm going to tell you, those guys ain't stupid. You think them dealers are stupid? Hell no, they're not stupid. They wouldn't be making that kind of bank, and, they wouldn't be making that kind of money and getting away with what they do if they were stupid. They're way fucking smarter than Don and Andy Bernard. Just saying. That Summer's got a bag packed and she's going away with Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, here's something I want to ask you. Did your daughter show any signs of acting different or anything like that? I mean, out of the norm for a few days after that particular episode? Or did she act scared? Did she act intimidated? Did she act withdrawal or did you see any signs of anything in your daughter that was different than she was before she went there?
That I can tell, no.
Okay.
But see, here's what the deal is. At that time, also, right after that, right after that, or before that, somebody accused me and my sister-in-law of touching my girls, and I didn't. So that kind of makes sense where that came from. So that means that one of them down there on that goddamn sorry-ass hill called and said that I was doing something because DCS was sent to my house and they had to take her and get her checked, and she wasn't never messed with. That's the only reason DCS cleared me and my sister-in-law.
I don't think her and her sister-in-law got cleared because her daughter got taken and put in the custody of her sister. So if they cleared you, they'd have let you keep your daughter. They obviously didn't clear you because your child got took and it's in the custody of your sister and still in the custody of your sister and probably always will be now. So how the hell did you get cleared? All right. Put a one in the chat if you agree. She didn't get cleared. No way in hell she got cleared. Because if they would have cleared everything, she'd be the mother of her child instead of her sister, right? That's the thing. Just saying. She didn't get cleared. And that's what she was getting. See, she got investigated. She got investigated and she lost her child for essaying. And she said they checked her child. Well, there must have been signs of what they suspected because they took the child and put the child in the custody of someone else. There you go, Fred, Ziggy. Right there, out of the horse's mouth. Right out of the horse's mouth as to why her children were took. Case closed, right? I brought the receipts. Now we're going to house your receipts about birth certificates. And Fred, why did you not want to mention the real reason that this child was took? Why did you not want to bring that up? Why do you and Donald and Candace and why do all of you guys want to stay away from the SAing charges that y'all had? Right? Why do you want to stay away from it? We know Don and Candace now had SAing charges against them because Candace confided into Jinkies that that's what they had on them. Well, you just heard Marlena say they had it on her too. So, and how many other people had it on them? How many other people had it on them? And let us remember that after Summer came up missing, Marlena lost her daughter. She lost her daughter over the SAing stuff. If we remember right, Allison's mother lost those kids, right? She got those Child Protective Services went in there, took all them kids out. And then they went to Allison's house and they took all of Allison's kids out. Was it all SAing? It sounds to me like it was. In my opinion, I believe it was. That's my opinion. I believe that, there was some shit going on. Law enforcement, got wind of it all. They got wind of a lot of names that was involved in this. And they started sending children's services into all these different houses and removing all these kids. Right? It was a ring. It was a ring. And they broke the ring up by removing the kids and trying to put them in safety places. Like they stuck Allison's kids with Leslie and Leslie's daughter. Leslie's daughter took Bear, and Leslie took Hunter, and True was too old, so they didn't really do nothing with True. And then the kids that Allison's mother had, they removed them. I don't know where they put them, but they put those kids somewhere too. And Marlena's child, they stuck with the sister. And I heard there was other people who lost their children as well down in that area. So, it is what it is. And every time, that this type of conversation comes up, I think about it, and let us remember also that Fred and Laura lost their kids as well, right? They lost their children also, off living somewhere else. I can't say I can't say that it's part of this ring, but I can say that Laura told me, and I have receipts. Laura told me that her daughter was down at the Wells house hanging with some old man that was giving her illegal substances, right? That came out of Laura's mouth, not PG's. So, it seems could it have been that they lost their kids as well because, of this kind of stuff that, this particular stuff. I don't know. But it seems like a lot of kids got removed, during the time that Summer's case was being investigated. Tons and tons of those kids were all getting took and placed other places. And that's something that you have to think about. And you have to also think about Fred Hill going up onto 110 and getting upset about Jody Sue's son already being there in a swimming pool with Summer, right? As if it was Fred's turn. And when he got there, somebody else was already, where he wanted to be. That's, my opinion. I'll keep it. I think all these people were just really fucking weird and twisted. I think they were all weird and twisted. You got to be weird and twisted, you know, to be touching a kid or even thinking that someone else is, you know, unless you have probable cause. You got to be weird to think someone else is. Because, that just isn't something the normal mind would think about. It's not something that a normal minded person would entertain as a thought. Um, you know, that's just nasty. What kind of person are you to be looking at everybody else like they're doing something? You must be doing it yourself. If you be looking at everybody like that, you must be doing it yourself or had it. When I see somebody with their hand over their drink, like at a bar someplace, when I see people, keeping their hand over their drink, or they come back and they won't drink it because, they haven't watched it, I think one or two things. Either one, they put stuff in people's drinks, or two, they've had something put in their drink. And that's the only two reasons they would be that weird. Now, which one is it? Which one is it? That's what you would have to decide. And then you would have to decide if you want to leave your drink unattended around that person. I mean, they might have had somebody put something in their drink and they just, ever since been scared. But they also could be, a freak, a twisted minded human being that likes to go around putting stuff in people's drinks, and therefore they don't trust no one else around theirs, right? That's the two things you got going on there. Right? And that's the way I feel about these people who, who's always, got their mind on always suspicious of everybody else, like Fred was of that, of Jody Sue's son. I figured that one or two things happen. Either they have been, violated in the past, or they're a violator. Right? That's the only two things that could happen there. And, being a victim myself, being a victim of that myself as a child, I still have, I still lean a lot stronger towards Fred being more of a victimizer than a victim. And I tell you why. Because being a victim of that kind of stuff myself as a child, I don't go around thinking everybody is like that. Right? I don't suspect that stuff. If I walked into a yard where there was, where there was people playing in a pool, say a 5-year-old girl with a 16, 17-year-old boy splashing around, I would think nothing of it. Especially if it's one of the neighbor kids, somebody, that hangs around there all the time, I think nothing of it. As long as, if the little girl's happy and she's playing and I can't see no signs of distress, or, I can't see where, she's, looking like she needs rescued. I'm not going to think nothing of it. I'm not going to think one thing of it. I'm going to just think that, it's hot. I wish I could be in that pool too. cooling off, especially in, in the hot Tennessee summers, right? In the hot Tennessee summer, man, you wish you had something. And these people don't even have mother freaking, air conditioning units. It's not like you can be inside staying cool all day, unless you want to go into the basement. And hell, we all know that a little freaking AC unit, a window AC unit, just ain't going to be enough to keep you cool in those hot ass Tennessee days. You're gonna still have some sweat. And so I'm not gonna think nothing of it, to be honest with you. But he did. And that makes me, very suspicious, and it makes me wonder what the fuck was he doing there? What was he doing there? And why, and even more so, why was he upset? Why was he so upset about it? That wasn't his child. That was Don and Candace's child. If they're okay with it, then, they're the parents. I wouldn't have thought nothing of it. I would not have thought a damn thing of it. Even being a victim, I wouldn't have thought nothing of it. I just don't go around suspecting that everyone is fucking twisted. And there's no reason, no reason for Fred to be running around thinking that either, unless he's twisted himself. That's just my opinion. I'm going to keep it. And I think there was a whole lot of twisted motherfuckers up there. And I think that Don and Candace got a whole lot of damn videos, like the one they talked about their boss. And I think that's why all of these people are damn afraid to help solve Summer's case, because they don't know if the video of them or not, right? They don't know if they got a video of them or not. They don't want to risk it. So they're all keeping their mouths shut. That's my opinion. And they're doing everything they can to keep this case from being solved, because there's a whole lot of freaking SAers involved in it. Like a whole damn big fucking group of them that were up there using children, using a bunch of little kids for their sick, twisted self-gain of weirdness. That's what it sounds like. And that's my opinion. And I think somebody done something that couldn't be fixed to Summer. I think someone, to be honest with you, I think they wore that little girl out. I think that they put her through hell too much. I think that they excessively went at that child to the point she couldn't handle it any longer, and complications set it in, and they had no choice but to destroy her and hide her. That's my opinion. I don't think she was abducted. I don't think no drug cartel got her. I don't think there was no drug debt. These are piss poor ass son of a bitches that, that are on, all that homemade shit. Dawn and Candace was getting her freaking, goody good shit across the road at Andy's, which he's probably growing it. He's probably up on that fucking hill growing it by the bushel. And down at Fred's, where, this motherfucker's down there using Clorox, right? He's out in the woods with a makeshift a makeshift fucking kitchen, cooking up Clorox and shit, right? Freaking weirdo. And he's selling it out. And that's the main shit. That's the main shit that these people were on. I mean, they wasn't on anything that they would need to get from a cartel. They were, they were on that low life fucking trash stuff, coming out of fucking basements and people's backyards. That's what they were on. Well, I heard Fred's kids were taking over a fight between him and his sister, and Fred decided to get a pow and pow it off. And the next day, Children's Services came in and removed all the kids because child endangerment, and they didn't ever get them back. That's what I heard. And Laura told me that. That came out of Laura's mouth. And I think that's where Dawn got the bullshit that, Child Protective Services was up there because of the kids had the BB, the BB pow-pows. And, and that's what they were investigating. And that's bullshit. Because the pictures of the BB pow-pows was in 2018. Candace reposted those in 2019. And I have the proof. See, I bring receipts to the table. But if you want the receipts, just go to Candace's fucking Facebook. Just go to her damn Facebook. Take a look at the pictures of the boys all holding the BB pow-pows and little Summer standing there. Dawn's even in one of the pictures. Matter of fact, Candace took a fucking, family selfie because she even put her big ass in it. And take a look at it. 2018. She reposted it in 2019. So, this is 2021. There ain't nobody going to be investigating some BB pow-pows for fucking 2 years ago. So that wasn't why Children's Services was up on the hill. They were up on the hill because a bunch of teachers saw Candace attack little Summer viciously, and they all called in and demanded Children's Services get on that damn hill and see what the hell's going on with this, twisted-minded mother who wants to attack her little girl like that. That's what that was about. Right? I wish these people would learn how to tell the truth. They need to tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil, right? Tell the truth and shame the devil. Last time she saw Summer was around Mother's Day.
No, I saw Summer the Tuesday evening that they came and picked her up. That was the last day I seen her, and she went missing the following Tuesday.
There you go. See, she told me herself that Summer was there on Tuesday, or her daughter went up on the hill on Tuesday, right there. Right there. Last time she saw Summer was around Mother's Day.
No, I saw Summer the Tuesday evening that they came and picked her up. That was the last day I seen her, and she went missing the following Tuesday.
There you go. She said her daughter's picked up on Thursday, because she didn't want it to seem like her daughter been there so long. But see, she truly picked her up on Tuesday. Her daughter was there for 5 days. Her daughter was up there for 5 days. Her little girl was at that freaking thick, twisted, mother freaking use and abuse children. Not my words, Jody Sue's words, sedating children so they can be touched, healed. 5 days her daughter's on a used and abused, sedate children to let them be touched. 110 Ben Hill, right? There you go. She's there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They take her home Saturday. They take her home Saturday. And then you've got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 7 days. 7 days. From Tuesday to Tuesday. 7 days. Summer came up missing. Exactly. On the 7th day. From when that came up there. Okay, did your daughter see a suitcase packed for summer around she went missing?
Yes, she did. She told me when grandma or whatever her name is,
Granddad.
Granddad, yeah, when Granddad brought her home that morning, she said that she seen a suitcase and it was packed, that her and her daddy was going away, and it was just her and her daddy. Nobody else was going. It was just her and her father going. And yes,
Yeah.
my daughter has talked to the police. Yes, my daughter has talked to FBI. So yes, they do know this. She went there on a Wednesday night. No, a Tuesday night. And she was supposed to stay for a week because it was in the summer and she was out of school, and they were supposed to go to wetlands and stuff like that because my car was down. And Candace said, let me have her. We're going to go to wetlands. I'll pay for it all. Me and Dawn will take care of her. And I'll bring her back to you on Sunday evening when we get back, or you can pick her up. We just stay in touch and I'll let you know. Well, I didn't have time to stay in touch because Friday morning about 10 o'clock, Granddad was bringing my daughter to the bottom of the hill and dropped her off at my house.
Right.
Where I lived at that time in Bayletson. And I asked my daughter why she was at home so soon. She said that, here comes the suitcase thing, said that her dad and her was going away on a field trip and she had to come home. On a trip somewhere. They were going away for a couple of days and she had to come home.
Did your daughter say that she actually saw the suitcase, actually saw it packed?
Yes, my daughter's seen it packed. She's seen them putting clothes into a suitcase. She also said that she picked out her favorite dress to take with her. I mean, which she did. She had a favorite dress. It was pink and it was Paw Patrol. It was the pink Paw Patrol.
Okay, did your daughter? There you go. I don't believe a lot of what Marlena's saying, because Marlena was the one that was talking with Candace. Candace had called Marlena at 4:30, June 15th, 2021. Marlena says that Candace was saying Summer was already missing. But that is the exact time that Candace was supposed to be at Fred's meeting up with Chad. Now, if you remember, Chad Arnold told law enforcement that he came into Ben Hill Road, he went down to Fred's house, and Candace was there. And she told him also at 4:30 that, or maybe a little bit after, between 4:30 and 5, he said, she told him that Summer was already missing too. I think what happened was Candace went down to Fred's to meet up with Chad to go over to the cemetery. Chad wasn't there, so Candace called Marlena to see where Chad was, and you know, was he coming there? And I think Marlena made, you know, let Candace know that yes, Chad is on his way. She probably texts Chad, you know, while she's on the phone with Candace. She probably texts, because she said her and Candace was talking through Facebook. So she probably texts Chad, you know, Candace is waiting, where are you? And he says on his way, and, you know, almost there. And she told Candace, you know, I texted him, he's on his way, he's almost there. And Candace is like, okay, good. And that's what the phone call was truly about, you know. And I don't believe, you know, that I think law enforcement should go back and re-question Journey, like now, about the suitcase stuff, because I think that they might be able to find out, since Journey's not in Marlena's custody anymore, and Marlena can't do, you know, do anything to her. You know, Journey might tell them, Mommy told me to say all this stuff, but that wasn't the truth. You know, they might get a different story now that Journey's been removed away from Marlena's custody, because I truly believe that Journey was afraid of Marlena and her brother and sister-in-law. I think she was afraid of them, and afraid, you know, she would say whatever they told her to say out of fear to law enforcement. I think these are the kind of people that would threaten a child, if you know what I mean. So they may get a different story now that the little girl's older, and, you know, and she's not intimidated by being in the custody of these evil people any longer. That's my opinion. All right, you guys, I'm sorry. I had to get my brownies out of the oven. No, I had to get my peach cobbler out of there. PG made a big old peach cobbler, and I had to go take it out of the oven real quick. So I appreciate you guys waiting on me. Right? I appreciate you waiting on me. I usually don't bake so late, but I've had so much to do, and I like to bake my own stuff. I don't like store bought that great. But I usually bake. I try to bake early in the mornings, bread and cakes and cobblers and if and whatever I'm going to make. I try to do it early, but I'm running. My schedule is all messed up. It's like all messed up. You guys don't even know. But anyway, um, yeah, scary. Be nice. be nice, girlfriend. Girl. You got the All right. You got the shush. Don't be telling on PG. Like you, Sherry. Oh goodness. I'm gonna tell you. No, for real. I'm gonna tell you what. Because I've been super busy, with all this marriage and everything, and you guys. I don't need to tell you how traumatic it can be trying to, you know, combine two households into one. It's quite a transgression, right? It's a real transgression. But um, anyway, um, I seen this new recipe where you could actually use the sugar cookie on dough. Um, that Betty Crocker's, it's Betty Crocker's um sugar cookie dough, and that you get in a big pouch. Um, anyway, you can take it and use it to make peach cobbler. You pour your peaches in the pan, and then you just sprinkle that over top of it dry, like you just pour it over top of it dry, and then put butter on top of that and put it in the oven, and you bake it till it's nice and brown and crispy, and boom, it's a peach cobbler. um I don't know how it tastes. I can't tell you. I haven't tasted it yet. It's I just seen a video of someone making it. So I decided to grab everything and and whip it up and try it. That's what I was doing this evening. And I put it all together and stuck it in the oven before I came in here, and I had to go get it out. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It is really. I use like a stick and a half of butter on top of it. You cut the butter in little squares, and you put it all over top of the cake mix, and or the cookie dough mix, and then you just pop it in the oven and let it roll, right? And see how it turns out. But it's beautiful. I just took it out, and it is really, you know, beautiful brown crust on top of it. I didn't, it's super hot right now, so I can't cut it or taste it, but I'll let you guys know, what I think of it. I'll let you know what I think of it. I haven't ever tried it before. Put a one in the chat if you've tried it. Let me know if it's good. If you've done it, I used the method. Oh, okay. Was it good, Auntie Sherry? Was it good? Because usually when I make my cobblers, I use cake mix. I usually use cake mix to do my cobblers. I whip up, I use cake mix, but Right, right, right. The true lockdown. That's true. Well, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know tomorrow, um, how it turned out. I'll let you know tomorrow how it turned out. And that, you know what, Anna, I don't know either. I don't know either. I so agree. You would think the first time CPS ever came on that property, they would have removed all of them kids, right? They just said you need to get this place. Actually, you need to build a whole new fucking house because this place is a nothing but a mother freaking hazard, right? This is a health hazard. This is, um, this is just unlivable for children. It ain't up to code. Nothing's up to code. The wiring, you know, nothing's up to code. You got a mother freaking wood burning stove in the basement when that is hazard. That is just like a big house health hazard in every way you could think of. And they should have immediately removed all the kids. I don't understand that. I don't understand how they could have left them kids in the house with wiring hanging from the ceilings, holes in the floor, you know, a mother freaking, you know, blazing stove, firewood stove in the basement. I don't even know. That's that's beyond me. A mother freaking refrigerator that isn't, big enough to hold all the groceries. Um, you know, Not enough bedrooms, not enough adequate space for that many children. They should have removed them kids and told the Wells, you're not getting them back until, you know, this house is up to code and has more room for the children. Oh wow. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Auntie Sherry. That's true, Jessica. And I'm gonna tell you, um, really good caseworkers will quit. They will quit Child Protective Services, and I'll tell you why. Because when you work for CPS and you have children, they want to stick their nose in your business as well. They have a way of trying to, stick their nose in your business. They try to tell you that you can't spank your child and you can't, and 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 most caseworkers, they just quit because they're too highly qualified, they're too educated, and they can get better jobs. And the ones that are highly educated will not stay with Child Protective Services. They'll go elsewhere because they can work at the Social Security offices, they can work other government jobs and not have to put up with all the bullshit. They can go work um at the health and human services, and they can go and work like I said, at the Social Security offices. They can go work in the state buildings. They can, they can move up and get better easier and better paying jobs. They won't stay with child protective services. It's too. You have to go into some really. You got to go in. Actually, it's a very dangerous job because you're going into, you're knocking on doors with some real ghetto people, and you know, and when you're knocking on these doors, you know, telling them you're child protective services and you're there to investigate, um, you know, these people can be, I mean, there's been caseworkers go into a house and not ever come out. That's what I'm trying to say. There has actually been caseworkers go into a home and they don't ever come out. And the people didn't take it kindly that they showed up. And, so it's a very dangerous job. It's a very, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot, it's a roller coaster of emotions. You want to help these kids, but, you know, um, and it can be very tiresome. And you take these kids out of the home, and these horrible places, only for the court system to put them right back into the same damn abuse. And it's like you're hitting your head against the wall. Caseworkers get deterred the same way law enforcement does. Law enforcement goes out there, they're all giddied up to get the crime off the street, and they run out there and they're doing their job, and the court system's just letting these criminals back out. And you start to wonder, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? You're going through so much to get get the garbage off the street, and the court system just putting them back out there for you to have to get them again. And that's not your job. It's not your job to keep getting them again. It's your job to get them the first time, and the court system's job to make sure they're not back out there doing it, back out there to be gotten again. That's the way it is. So basically what you're left with is a bunch of caseworkers who, that ain't really educated, that, a bunch of mindless, they like the money, but they don't like the job, and they're not going to be doing their job. And these kids get left behind. They get left behind, in my opinion. Because someone that truly cares about kids, they can't work for Child Protective Services very long. Because like I said, they see the court system handing them back into the hands of these abusive people to just be abused again and again and again. And it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. And then also you put up with the whole lot more bullshit. This girlfriend gets mad at that girlfriend, and she makes a call, an anonymous call to Child Protective Services, and now you're being used. You're being used as a get even tool by some stupid individual that thinks it's funny, to get children's services on everybody when they get pissed off at them, right? Oh, I'll get even with you. I'll call Child Protective Services on your ass. So you're out there chasing ghosts. You're out there chasing ghosts. You're knocking on these doors, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this person. There's nothing wrong. The kids go to school. They got plenty of food. They got a clean house. They got, it's just somebody pissed off at them, family member, neighbor, somebody pissed, wanting to use children's services as a weapon against someone else. And it's bullshit. And you have a lot of that. Like, you have a ton of that going on as well. And these caseworkers are all stretched thin, and they do get tired. They get very damn tired of the BS. And that's, I mean, if you want a damn good system that works, everybody has to work together to make a beautiful system. What I'm saying is, if you want a good CPS service, then people have to quit being mad at their neighbor and using Child Protective Services as a way to get even. That's stupid. And you're stretching the caseworkers thin, so the children that do need them ain't getting them. I mean, if people are only making phone calls where there is a true need, the system would be a hell of a lot better. But how does the court know who needs it and who doesn't need it? How does the court system know this? Yeah, the judge does. The judge lets them, the parents come in, they talk about how families mad at them and using Child Protective Services as a get even way, or their child's sick, they keep it home, and in the school just is being mean and rude to them, and one thing and another, and or the kids are a nightmare, and nobody really wants them because they're so out of control, so they just leave them in the home. There is so many reasons. Right, right. They do that, Sherry. They do that. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes um, Don Wells posted. I'll bring it in. I got it. I didn't put it into content. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll bring it in and let you see it. But he posted on his Facebook um, a case, a case, um, Child Protective Service case on his Facebook, and um, matter of fact, he posted it yesterday, and it is about a little boy. Um, it is about a little boy, and this particular little boy, um, Cyrus. It's the Cyrus case, and there's two Cyrus cases. This little boy, the first little Cyrus, the Cyrus case. There was a case in Hawaii with the Cyrus, the original, and that was a man who threw the 23-month-old child over the highway. because he was high on, you know, what Fred Hill was cooking up. And so that was the original. But this was the one that Don Wells posted about, was about a child named, you know, another child named Cyrus, that the parents, the child was malnutritioned. The parents were not keeping up with the doctor's appointments for the best health of the child, you know, the best welfare for the child. And the parents, you know, made a big scene and got a bunch of people together and had a big, you know, a big thing going. And basically, you know, this huge picketing thing going on. And anyhow, what happened was the hospital had to shut down for security reasons and all kinds of stuff over this child. It was returned within a week back to the parents. But during this week, I guess a lot went down because of, you know, what the parents were doing, acting like parents of the year when the child was malnutritioned and they didn't want to send it back into the atmosphere, you know, because they weren't bringing it to every appointment like they supposed to for the best care of the child. And that was the problem. And the hospital ended up suing them for tons and tons of money. The parents got sued over it. Anyhow, Don wanted to post it up, you know. It's about how Child Protective Services supposedly steals all of these children, you know, capitalizing off of them and so forth and so on. You know, I hate to say this, but I have seen, you know, like I said, I came from the hood, lived a life of hell, walked through hell. You know, I was basically born. So with that being said, and being raised in the hood like that, you know, and being poor, I seen Child Protective Services a lot at people's doors. And I'm going to tell you something. Like, 9 times out of 10, they left the kids there. 9 times out of 10, they didn't even want the kids. For real. For real. And I'm going to tell you, and this is a true story. A true story. I was at a home. I was at a home where Child Protective Services showed up. They were knocking on the door. And I'm going to tell you what happened. The mother opens the door. She's a young mother, very young. She opens the door. She has the kids' stuff packed. For this is a real story. She has the kids' stuff, all their stuff, you know, packed up. And she sets it out on the porch and puts the kids out there too. And said, "Here they are, take them." That's what she did. She said, don't take them. Don't come back and knock on my effing door no more. You want them, take them. I'm going to tell you what, that fucking caseworker left. And those kids were still standing there. And their bags were still sitting on the porch. And that caseworker got in the vehicle and left and did not come back. That is a true mother freaking story. I know, because I was there. Straight up. I watched it happen. You may not believe that, but it's true. And I'm going to tell you something. Those kids needed to be took. Those children needed to be took. Those children needed to be taken. I tell you that right now, too. You do not know what abuse those kids went through. You do not even know. But they didn't take them. I tell you, Child Protective Services, you know, unless they're forced to take kids like the Wells, they will not take them. The only reason they took the boys is because Summer came up missing. Because we, the people, her case blew up, and we, the people, you know, they had an outpour of people on their back. They had even the news stations looking at them. And that's the only reason the Wells boys were taken and put in other homes. And that's the truth. You guys know it, and I know it. I'm going to tell you, if Child Protective Services is taking children, then they're taking them out of clean homes. They're taking them out of, they're taking them out of homes that they like to go in and they like to sit around in. They're taking them, they're taking children where the parents ain't doing no illegal substance stuff. They're taking kids that, that they possibly could adopt out if they're able to get their hands on them. And that's the truth. That's my opinion. I'll keep it. But they mostly like getting their hands on newborns. They like to get their hands on newborns. Now, I'll tell you something about newborn kids. Even if the child is born addicted to illegal substances, most of the time, the hospital can wean the child off of whatever that substance was. And 9 times out of 10, sometimes the child ain't normal, but 9 times out of 10, the child is normal. By the time it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, it's a regular normal child. No disabilities at all. They're completely normal. Able to walk, talk, do everything that a regular kid does. And and a lot of these families looking for kids know that. A lot of these families looking for children know that. So those kids get taken and put into, and basically adopted into homes. And those are the ones, mainly they're after is newborn babies. But those kids, it's already, like Summer and them, you know, 4, 5, 6 years old, out of control, all ate up with, their teeth are all messed up and they're got, scabies, lice, all this stuff going on. They try to leave those kids behind. They try to get the parents to, to go buy some medications, go to a doctor's office, straighten things up, clean things up, and they try to leave those kids there. They don't want them. They don't even want to walk in the house. Straight up, they don't even want to go in there. You'd be surprised how many caseworkers are taking off all their clothes in their backyard, putting them in a trash bag, and washing them at a laundromat in, in disinfect before they'll even bring them back into their house. And that's the truth too. most of them, most caseworkers have what they call a mud room, and they buy homes or they get their home built with a mud room, and that's basically like an outside room where you stop and you take all your stuff off, you put it in a trash bag, you jump into a shower and wash down, and then you put on a robe and slippers, and you go into your home, your main home, so that you don't infect anybody. You don't infect your home or anyone in your home with everything you're being subject to. And that's hard to believe, but it's true. Caseworkers make pretty damn good money. Uh, Lockdown with April C. You're gonna have to, write out. I I ain't following. I'm not following. All the. I'm not following what you're putting down there. You know. People. A lot of people don't want to take other people's children into their house. Foster homes are very, very rare now. A lot of people don't want to open their home up because you have to, for one, you have to go through a lot of stuff, of red tape to be a foster parent. You got to go take all kinds of classes. The caseworkers are putting more on the foster parents now than before. They want you to take the kids and drop them off for their visitations. They want you to pick them up. They want you to, the caseworkers are supposed to go pick the kids up and take them to visitation and bring them back to your home, but they don't want to do that no more. They want to get the foster parents to run these kids everywhere. They want, it is too demanding. The caseworkers are lazy, and it's too demanding on the foster parents. And not only that, but they bring these kids into your home, and these kids could, they could lie, they could say things, they could ruin your whole entire life. Um, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of foster homes get blamed for stuff that, a lot of them get blamed for stuff they truly done. A lot get blamed for stuff they truly didn't do. And, so you're really, these kids don't, a lot of these kids don't want to be there, and they'll say anything to not be there, even lie on the foster parents. And that's very dangerous for the foster parents, because these are foster parents usually have um, pretty good jobs. They hold state jobs, and they hold, you know, um, pretty damn, high society jobs. And they're bringing these kids in, because they love kids. A lot of these people want to help kids. And, you know, there's a lot of foster parents out for the money. That's true. They're out for the dollars. That's all they do is take kids in and live off of it. But there's a lot that, hold big jobs and stuff that just feel sorry for kids taking them in, and it can ruin their whole damn career if they get the wrong kids saying the wrong things that, they're truly not doing. So a lot of people just, don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. You know, it's um it's too taxing. It's too taxing. And you got to do a lot. Like, you got to do a lot. You got to get these kids into sports. You got to go, you got to get them in school. You got to get them into all these sports. When you're a foster parent, you have to, you have to do a lot of running. Like, you got to have a soccer mom band, and you got to be running these kids everywhere and doing all this stuff, and you're responsible for them. And any little thing goes wrong, it could be real bad. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. It's easier just to work a regular job, you know and mind your own business. And another reason that a lot of families don't want to take in foster kids anymore is because of computers. It used to be people didn't care to take these kids in too, because kids were playing outside, and everybody was outside. Everybody was, um, doors were open. Doors were open. That's basically what I'm saying. And everybody was outside communicating with each other, and you didn't really have, other than a TV show to watch here and there, you didn't really have anything else to do, right? And so a lot of people took in those foster kids. But now, with everybody on computers, everything going through this box, people don't want all of that inside their house. They don't want all that noise. They don't want all that stuff. A lot of people, they want to come home from work. They want to eat dinner. They want to get on the computer. They just like me time. They just like me time, and do what they want to do, and they ain't into all that family stuff anymore. So that's a lot of reason, you ain't getting. And I'll tell you, there's a very big misconception about money when it comes to foster kids. People say, oh, these foster families get a ton of money. No, they fucking don't. No, they don't. They get some vouchers to buy the kids clothes and stuff at the beginning, and they get basically they get like regular, what you would call regular welfare. I don't know what that is for a family, in 2025. But um, if you have 4 kids, that's the money and the stamps you're going to get being a foster parent. If you have 6 kids, that's the money you're going to get for having the kids. And that's barely enough to feed them and clothe them, you know. So you're not really, you're bringing them in your home, and you're watching them, and you're spending all that time with them for free. The money you get definitely is going to go on their clothes, definitely go on the sports they want to play, the all the computer and game machines and all the stuff to entertain them, and the food, all the food they eat. And by the time I've got 4 kids of my own, and I'm going to tell you, I spend I spend probably roughly about 500 bucks a week in groceries. You know, easy. That's easy. And that's not including McDonald's. It's not including, eat outs and, other stuff the kids want, when you're out and about. That's just grocery store, plain grocery store. 500 easy per week, per week. Yeah, cost me about 2,000 bucks a month just to feed my family. So, you know, go to the grocery store. Go to the grocery store. I ran to the grocery store this evening and to pick up some miscellaneous items like just some bread. I had to grab some aluminum foil and I grabbed some pop and just a few items. $70. $70. That's how fast it went. Straight up. So, that's the way it is. I went and got everything to make hamburgers and the kids decided they'd rather have spaghetti. So I said, okay, we can do that. Um, so I ended up, picking up the sauce and the spaghetti and all, the other stuff that we was going to need and some salad and whatever. And that was yesterday. I went to the store. And when I left the store, my bill was like $140 some dollars when I went out the door. So, it cost like it was 200 bucks in 2 days. $200 in 2 days feeding my kids. So, that's a lot of money. But groceries are very expensive. Very expensive. Hell, a pack of hamburgers, $20. And buns are four, $5, $6 a pack. Right? It's not cheap. It costs a lot of money to feed children. So these foster homes, people think they get big money. Um, I can't speak for every state, but I can speak for a few of them, and it's just not so. I can't answer that question, little PG. I cannot answer that question. I do not know. I do not know. Her and her sister-in-law was charged, was accused and charged, are going to be charged with doing it themselves. So I don't know. Yeah, that's true, Jessica. It's true. I'm going to tell you the price. You can pay all your bills for what you pay in food. It actually costs you more to buy groceries a month than to pay your gas and your electric and your phone and your internet. I mean, your grocery bill exceeds your it's actually cost us more than paying than paying all your bills, right? And groceries shouldn't be like that. Who in the hell charges $4 for a loaf of fucking bread? People make $7.25 an hour. That's minimum wage, right? $7.25 an hour. Most people make about $10 an hour. Most jobs are willing to pay $10 or more, a little more an hour. I'm talking about like McDonald's, restaurant jobs, Some jobs, pay um, $15, $16 an hour. It all depends. All depends on, where you work. They pay different wages. But I guess the standard minimum wage is like 7.25. I don't know. But back in 1980, minimum wage was like $3.10. Now, back in 1980, with the $3.10 minimum wage, houses were only like 20,000 to 60,000. You could get a really nice home for 20 to 60 grand. Basically, minimum wage has doubled. It's doubled, but the price of a house is, you can't even get a house for less than 250 to $500,000 for a decent home. And that's just a decent home, like a 20 to $60,000 home in the 80s. So how in the hell did the homes go up that much and the minimum wage only doubled? In 1980, you could get 3 loaves of bread for $1, right? It was like 3 loaves of bread for $1. And now it's $5 for 1 loaf. Come on. You tell me. You tell me what the fuck is wrong with that equation. And in 1980, we were on a gold standard, right? America was on a gold standard. Well, America ain't on a gold standard now. Land is worth more than gold. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. And you have people out there trying to buy up all the land. You have these places trying to monopolize and buy up all the land, all the homes, everything, because it's the thing that's worth more than gold now. It's land. We're going on a land standard now. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. Well, see, she said we went off gold standard in 1972. Then why is Fort Knox still holding all that gold? Why is Fort Knox holding all that gold if we're off their standard? Exactly. I I want to tell you, I don't know. I I just I just pray and I thank God that I'm able to make it day to day, and I think everybody's doing that. You know, you have to remember. You got to always remember that you know the Lord. The Lord said, Jesus said, you know, if God will feed all the birds and He address all the lilies of the field, the flowers and everything, if he dresses the earth and feeds all the animals, how much more will he take care of you? You got to trust in God. You got to trust in God. And I do. And I do. And he's been good to me. He's been very good to me. And I appreciate it. I'm so grateful. And he knows that. I'm grateful for everything I have. So, I guess that's the main thing, right? That's the main thing. But anyway, I brought the receipts. I brought the receipts. Um, tonight I brought the receipts. Before I go out of here, I just wanted to I just wanted to quickly play um something else for you guys.
Before that, I just and spent a bunch of time on prayer gardens, and then now I'm talking to you all.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Yeah, there's all kinds of people that I suspect. You've been up here, you know what it's like up here. I mean, I wish I would have drove you around and showed you a lot of shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been all around the area. I drove all around the area. And like you told me there was a girl that you suspected when I had talked to you that was coming around that hung out with some riffraff. And what was her name? Marlena or something like that?
Marlena Crawford. And I have no qualms about spreading her name because the fact of the matter is, the bitch come up here with Bobby Dykes when she knew exactly, because we was trying to help her at the time, and we give her all kinds of money. We done everything we could to help her. We babysitted her daughter. She'd come up here and dump her fucking daughter off. Sorry, I don't mean to say it like that.
I'm going to tell you something. Don and Candace ain't ever gave nobody all kinds of anything. Trust and believe that. They didn't give Allison a damn thing. Allison was given to them. They didn't give nobody shit, right? They didn't give nobody shit. And I'm going to tell you, if they was giving Marlena something, then they were getting something in return, right? They was getting something in return. Because Don and Candace Wells don't give nobody a damn thing. Those motherfuckers are users and abusers. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Because I agree with myself. Just saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to tell you, them mother freakers gave nobody nothing. And that's what makes me believe that they were using and abusing Marlena's child as well as Summer. That's just my opinion. I'll keep it.
Sorry, my bad. Excuse me, please. But she'd come up here and bring her daughter up here. She's a precious little girl, beautiful little girl. And she would just dump her off here for weeks at a time while she went out and done her dope or whatever the hell she done. And I didn't have a problem with that, but she was taking advantage of us. And then when she knew where me and Candace were at a certain point in time, she brought her cousin or whoever she is, a friend, Bobby Dykes up here, and they stole every tool out of my shed that they could and everything that they could steal.
No, they didn't steal every one of your tools, Don, because your ass has got plenty of tools. Matter of fact, you had them all in your truck. and you took them to that job site on the mother freaking when you first started working there, and you dumped them off there on the 14th and 15th. You mother freaking drove Candace's vehicle, and you left all of the equipment at the job site because you had to finish up them with apartments. And when it was time to collect your shit, you went back in your truck and collected everything in your truck as usual. And nobody had your damn tools but you. So just shut up. Shut up. There ain't a damn thing up there worth stealing.
Uh-huh. And you said she was like living in a homeless camp or something at one point or something like that on the road?
Well, I mean, her husband, you know, he's in the meth and everything, and they didn't, you know, they have some hard times. I mean, her mother has custody of her kid right now. I'm not going to mention her name or anything.
No, her mother don't. But was that why you was driving past her mother's house all the time? Just not too long ago? Was that why you were flying around by her mother's house, basically like stalking it, in my opinion? Is that why you were there all the time? Because that's where you thought the little girl was? I gotta wonder about that. I gotta wonder about that. And yeah, you was seen. You was seen. Absolutely. But why? Why, did you guys notice that Don Wells was all over Marlena? And you notice Fred Hill all over Marlena? And, Andy all over. Did you notice that all of these people are all over Marlena? You got to wonder why. Why are they all hating on Marlena? Just saying. Right? You got to wonder about that. And, Fred Hill, he doesn't, none of these people know each other. Fred's Andy's cousin. Look at them. These two little fellers growed up together, right? These two little fellers growed up together. Been cousins all their life, playing their little tree house, running around, doing all kinds of things together. Both of them work on cars, like I said. Both of them lives inside Ben Hill Road. Boy, and they don't even know each other. Gotta wonder about that. Just saying. Yeah. And hell, if it wasn't for Marlena, we wouldn't have known that Andy was the king of Booger King, right? We wouldn't have known that Andy was the big king of Booger King, hanging out in the bathroom. He's caught at Booger King hanging out in the bathroom all the time. What the fuck they doing up in the bathroom all the time? What the hell is him and Don doing at Booger King's, hanging out up in a bathroom all the time? That's some weird shit. That's some weird shit right there. Right? Just saying. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. But I brought the receipts to the table, right? I brought all the receipts to the table. And now I want Fred and Ziggy to bring their receipts. I want them lying mother freakers the freaking bring their receipts to the table. Just saying. Put the receipts where their mouth is. We showed all the receipts tonight, right out of the horse's mouths. Wow. Right? right out of the horse's mouths. Well, let us see their receipts. You know, it doesn't seem like anyone wants to tell Ziggy nothing. Not even Fred. Not even Fred. Even Fred don't want to tell her nothing but a pack of lies. Ziggy can't bring no receipts because I really don't think anybody talks to her. Right? Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Hey, Don, I know you're hiding in the bushes. You're hiding in the bushes because I made a comment on your stinky post today, right? I made a big comment on there. And I know you're hiding in the bushes. Right? Won't you come out and tell us where Summer is? Because we know you know. Right? We know you know. Won't you come out and tell us? That's what we want you to do. We want you to come out. You know, confession is good for the soul, Don Wells. Confession is good for the soul. Why don't you come out and confess? That's what we want you to do. I don't think Don's going to come out and confess. Why? Why? He going to come out and confess because Don Wells don't like prison, do you, Don? You don't like prison. That's sad. That's sad. Well, I tell you what, I think hell's a lot worse than prison. I think hell is a lot worse than prison. And you know, thing about prison ain't forever, but hell is. And I tell you what, I sure wouldn't want to be you, Don Wells. I sure wouldn't want to be you. That's all I got to say. Don't want to be you. Oh, and before I go out of here, I wanted to let everybody know. I appreciate all the prayers, all of your prayers for White Boy. I appreciate you guys praying for White Boy. He's doing great. I seen him today. I watched, I guess something went wrong with the live. He took a private and didn't know it or something. I don't know. But I tried to tune in, you know, to see how he was doing. He's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty good, you know, and we appreciate the prayers. I definitely appreciate them. So I wanted to let you guys know that. I seen where he said he was going to get a hold of Dee Dee's death certificate, but it has not came yet. It hasn't came, you know, yet. So he hasn't got it. And, you know, it's good to see that he cared enough about his mod, you know, that he loved her enough to, you know, be doing what it takes to try to get justice for if this was foul play. So, you know, me and White Boy, we do not really see eye to eye, but, you know, as I said, he's a fixture out here, would be greatly missed. And I'm glad to see, you know, I'm glad to see that, you know, he's turning the table away from Don and Candace in the favor of, you know, the victims who truly need him, especially, you know, Dee Dee and Summer. So, you know, I'm glad to see that. And I'm glad to see that he's, you know, doing better. I'm glad to see that, you know, there's power in prayer, you guys. There's definitely power in prayer. God was listening, and I appreciate all of you sending up the prayers for him. In the name of Jesus, amen. But anyway, PG's going to get out of here. And I just wanted to ask, I don't ever leave without telling you and asking you, please pray for Summer. This little girl is counting on each and every last one of us to be a voice for her. Let our voices go up. Let them go up to the Lord. Let them go up to God himself through his son, Jesus Christ. Let our voices be heard where it really counts, and that's in heaven right now. Speaking to God on her behalf. We got to ask God to let this little girl be found, brought home, and justice served for her. We got to ask God to let us have closure along with her brothers and this little girl to have her own resting place as she deserves on this earth. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So please keep those prayers going up for Summer Moon, Utah Wells. She counts on us. God bless her. Also keep them all going up for Michael Vaughn, Sebastian Rogers, Jack and Lily, and little Emmanuel. Good night, everybody. God bless. Much love. April C. You say you're about to talk about Josie. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with talking about the oldest boy, the oldest Wells boy. I just want to put that out there. I want to let you know now. I do not agree with anyone talking about the oldest boy or the two youngest boys. They're all doing good. They've all turned their lives around. They do not need to be exploited out here any way, form, or how. These boys got gaslighted. They got gaslighted by their own parents. They've been through enough hell. They don't need to be put through anything else. I don't suggest anyone to be talking about none of these three boys. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that these boys should not be bothered or exploited out here. Leave those little boys alone. They've been through enough. I wouldn't entertain it either. Anna, I wouldn't entertain it. Good night, you guys. Don't forget to pray for one another as well, and know that PG's always praying for you.